Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hello, Walnut. Happy Walnut Wednesday. It is me, your host, Laz, here for another week of walnuttings. I actually, with this episode, Walnut, I apologize in advance because I had to hit the record button to just let what I feel like saying filter through me because there's a few different things. So I don't know how this is all going to come together. But I wanted to start with I wanted to share and celebrate with you that I have practiced since episode 161, where I talked about, so this might get a little woo-woo, Walnut. If you're not into the esoteric, strange, crazy crystal lady discussions, you can skip ahead to another episode or wait till next week. No hard feelings. But in episode 161, I talked about how I've stepped into this new level of my healership. And I talked about the story time of how I saw this guy on TikTok basically renounce all Reiki and say how bad it was to ever have a Reiki healing and all that kind of stuff, and what my view was on that, and how it's been a part of this big shift energetically and spiritually that I've kind of gone through. But since then, since that episode, I think I told you I took my Reiki healings off of my websites. I left it just for, if people wanted one, they could ask me. And I've since put it back, but I have removed the word Reiki and just called them distance healings. I've been trialing not strictly using the rule book or the structure of a Reiki healing, and just using the little drips and drabs of my own spiritual toolbox learnings, such as the Akashic records, oracle cards, all that kind of stuff. Crystal, not a lot has changed apart from just putting a little strike through the word Reiki and just calling it a healing, because it's just giving my own little flavor. And it reminds me of my dear friend Jamie Walnut, who we always talked about religion. I think I've said this on the podcast before, where she calls it her religious quilt, where she takes little drips and drabs of spirituality and different religions and makes her own little religious quilt of what she chooses to believe in and what makes her feel whole and feel love and all the wonderful things that that religion and things may bring. So she makes her own, and I feel like I've kind of done that with my toolkit of modalities that I've been learning. So it was really scary at first, Walnut, and to go into something with, and I'm quite a superstitious person as well, so to go into something well knowing that I am not doing the tune in, tune out official air bunny quotes practice of what I have been taught, and as a line one in human design as well, I was like, ah. I'm also quite a structured person, so that was quite I obviously on the outside looked like a very zen person with my eyes closed and doing lots of breathing things, but on the inside I was like, ah. But I picked what I picked what I like, and so I did a tune in that I learned off of my Akashic record teacher. I didn't copy her one, but I made my own spin of it. I did sort of a little bit of the practice that I had been taught with doing a distance Reiki healing, and then with the healing itself, I didn't structurally go through chakras and give them all a little kiss. I asked what drew me in the most and what I think needed the most, nurturing at the time. I let things pop in like I normally do, and I talked to the person afterwards with what kind of came up and things like that, and I tuned out and closed out the way I would, just using mini drips and drabs of all of the little things, and it was quite a liberating experience. The feedback I got was just like, ah. And also for one of the persons that I did a healing on, they said sort of it kind of was in the days later where it was like, I don't know if it was the healing or what, but like things just kind of are going in this particular way. So like I think my healings have become a little bit more like magical and much more intuitive rather than heavily structured. And I really like how that's kind of flowing. And that's all I really wanted to like share as my walnutting this week, because it took a lot. Walnut, right? So when I saw that TikTok, it was like months ago now, and it took a lot to like share that with you because I didn't want to sort of scare anybody. I didn't want to make you feel like if you've ever had a Reiki from me, Walnut, that you're like cursed or anything like that. And I didn't really know what to sort of believe and what I chose to believe. So I so that's my walnutting. That's what I wanted to share. That was like my little moment of being brave, was actually bringing the healing back into my business, Air Bunny quote, back into Walnut Wednesday, the umbrella, back into my service to the world. Not renouncing Reiki, still utilizing all the valuable stuff I've learned. I will love Reiki till the day I die. It's the most beautiful practice, and it has helped me through many, many things. It's just time for me to be my own, thing. And something that I've learned recently is, not that I've learned it recently, but I did a module in one of my classes recently about discernment and just knowing the difference. And sometimes that's really hard when you're smacked in the face with not in social medias, but like, celebrities and trends and stuff like that, where everything you're basically just like spoon fed what to think and how to feel about a lot of things, right? And that's where we get like the body issues, if you're a millennial, all of those sorts of things. And with my healings, I've had to really come back to my discernment of self. And I think this is a walnutting in itself, where I have had to really, truly, genuinely back myself. And that is no easy feat, Walnut. That is no easy feat. I've been taking these upgrades. They're not downloads. They're like friggin' revivals of what's that thing when your phone updates an update, like I've been taking all of these like spiritual energetical refreshers as it's just a new level of the Laz, the woo-woo version of Laz, where it's just I'm so much deeper into myself. I so have to have that level of faith and trust in myself. And it's just so weird letting these like words slip off my tongue, Walnut, because when I started Walnut Wednesday, the little shaky voiced peanut who was like, didn't ever stick up for herself, and to be the woman that I am now, the walnut that I am now, where I can actually say no. I can actually say, hang on a second, I can have a conversation and be in a sentence, go snap, and then like have the words. It's not all the time, but it's not like that moment where you're like thinking of all the conversations that you could have had in the shower that you wish you could have said but never did because you didn't think of it on the spot. I'm now in a position where sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I am like fast at a response, and it's not just like it's not a reactionary response. It's actually just like a genuine like response, and that's all my walnut practice. It's all my being brave practice. And it's given me that confidence in myself, that faith to just back myself, and it's so bloody beautiful, Walnut. So yeah, I just wanted to share that I have tried and done and successfully completed some of the new distance healings. So they are up and ready. If you're in the walnut tree, they're on special because I'm still, trialing this out. And I'm trying to be ironic, but the number just sort of felt right. If you're in the walnut tree at the moment, which is January 2023, if you're in the future, they are on special for $66.06. And I kind of had a little play on that number because obviously 666 has its bad connotations and omens because of biblical things. But it's actually like, if you look up the angel number of it, it's actually a number that like encourages you to sort of refocus yourself and have a look at where you are now and not getting so wrapped up in the stuff that I was saying that's thrown in front of your nose, and wrapped up in the trends, wrapped up in like the problems that aren't actually, they're just storm in a teapot. It's not a big deal. Wrapped up in celebrity drama, gossip, all that kind of stuff. If you see that number, it does suggest to just come back to focus of what actually genuinely truly matters in life, and refocus to what you actually do have right under your nose, sort of thing. Did I just repeat myself? And I thought that was fitting because changing from Reiki to just distance healings did require a lot of refocus, and it was in a time where my mastery was the devil. And story time, Walnut, I've had my Akashic reading for 2023, and the card, of course, like, this is no coincidence at all, but of course the card that I mastered, that I, that she likes to do a pull of things that I have mastered and then what I'm going to be learning and so and so. What I have accomplished, mastered, was the devil. So I can successfully say that, my God, that turbulence that I had from well, I want to say last year, but it's just in general, right? There's no like linear timeline to it, but that saga, I can say, well, the cards can say that I've mastered that devil major arcana tarot card. I feel like I still have a long way to go. And just a side tangent, if you know tarot cards, Walnut, the new mastery that I have at the minute is the moon. She shakes her head in dismay. My God, what a journey I have to go through. So these strange episodes, Walnut, they're going to keep coming. The new learnings are going to keep coming, but I will continue to share them with you, and as I grow and as I learn. But my walnutting this week is that I have practiced stepping into my own versions of healership. And what I have sort of learned from that, and also looking back in hindsight, is that I'm at a really, really strange place. Well, not strange. It's a really lovely place to be, where I back myself. I have trust in myself. I have faith in myself. And that is from practicing forgiving myself. That is from practicing being brave. And that is giving me a little bit of confidence here and there in my day to day. So much so that in conversations, things just come to me on the spot, and it's making me like an effective walnut communicator in some ways. Still a work on, still working through it, but I feel it changing. So that's what I wanted to share this week, Walnut. Let me know what you've taken from this episode. I know I've gone on like 100 different trains and I haven't really come full circle, but this is Walnut Wednesday with the Laz after all. So have a happy Walnut Wednesday, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.